Hello, and welcome to the Casino Tears podcast. I'm one of your hosts, 10 Ton is number one, and joining me as my co-host is the one and only Ed Robinson from Roll to Win Craps. If you want more info on our show, please visit our page at casinotears.com. On this week's show, we discuss Dice Coach Dials In, weekend event wrap-up, private table disaster. We also touch on listener questions, betting styles, hot toddies, the Cromwell, random and rhythm rollers, the claw grip, and Ed's true calling is teaching.
Did you get a new camera, 10 Ton?
Me?
Yeah.
No, why? It's the same one.
It looks better.
Really?
It does look better.
I think he's not as sickly today than
What
he
the
was.
hell? It's the exact same one that's on my computer.
Yeah, but he got color. You look like,
You're all rosy cheek.
yeah.
I don't know.
You
Well,
were going to ask me a question a minute ago.
Ed, you would not like this. I'm drinking hot water with like a bunch of honey and 3 drops of oil of oregano.
I would not like that.
No, it's an acquired taste for sure.
You got to have 1/3 bourbon, 1/3 honey,
Yeah, I know.
1/3 lemon juice.
Is that the hot toddy?
Yes, sir.
It is a hot toddy.
Toddy. I wonder where that came from. Is it like a little person gave it to Todd? Here you go, Toddy. It's something else. I know it's something else, right, Ed?
I have no idea.
Can I ask a
I
question?
couldn't. Yeah.
What the hell does this conversation have to do with dice?
Welcome.
This is welcome to our world.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, Bo, thanks. And this is going to be episode 41. Dice Coach dialing in.
Dice Coach dialing in. Here he is.
Yeah, with
There is the dice coach.
no technical difficulties. All right. So, Bo,
Sure.
how would you sum up this weekend? Any thoughts on the weekend?
Well, I thought, okay, since this is the first time you and I and Ed have ever done anything together as a group, I thought it went fabulous. I want to commend Ed on his ability to demonstrate and show the correct way to grip the dice. And yeah, Ed, you did a great job. I was really impressed
Thank you.
with what you
Thank
did. And the guys, we've got 2 testimonials in, and they're going to be posted on my website tomorrow. I've already changed the dates on my website. So Marches are up now, March 7th through the 9th, the 7th being the meet and greet. The 8th is a Saturday class. The 9th is a Sunday class. And no, I thought it went fabulous. The reports I'm getting back verbally from the students are all positive, no negative at all, nothing negative. The only glitch we had was the private table, which has turned out to be the worst table in Las Vegas I've ever seen. I've been here 23 years.
Yeah.
Talk about
but
influence. We could not influence the dice at all. Nobody could.
But that's not even a glitch.
That's part of life. And we understand that. That happens.
The worst table I've ever seen in 35 years plus.
There you go.
Worst table ever.
That is epic. It's sort
But
of
the
like,
good news is when the students went out in small groups, and I was with a couple of them, and so was Ed, and so were you, everybody won in the casinos because they really paid attention. And I thought that was just absolutely fantastic. And they're happy as heck.
it was a cool event. It was just different.
It was totally different because I know a couple of the students that have taken others, which we won't mention their names. They said, boy, these other classes are nothing like yours. This is unbelievable because we put in that extra spin to add the enjoyment along with the winning attitude, right?
Right.
So that's just totally awesome.
And it was a small enough crowd that everybody got a lot of. I felt like everybody got a good amount of individual attention
absolutely
during the class.
Absolutely. And we went overboard too. We went extra time, and then we gave them a lot of extra casino time because that one Saturday night, I didn't get to bed till 1:30 in the morning, because being in the casino. So there you go. So, hey, we gave them our best, man. I'll tell you, when I got back Monday, I was going, I'm dead. I need a couple of days to kind of get back.
You should have been trying to ride a plane back.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
My
yeah,
God.
Exactly. No, I don't think there's any complaints. I think it went well. I was happy. We worked good as a team, as a teaching and coaching team. The that one day was really incredible, Ed, when I was doing some betting strategies that you are not really fond of, and you were coaching one of the students and sniping out certain numbers, and they were hitting like 3 in a row, boom, boom, boom. But all you did was make my betting strategy look better because you're hitting the numbers you wanted to. So that was awesome. That was awesome.
It was fun. That was fun.
It was good.
And the nice part about all that was you and I are totally different, but yet we have a lot of similarities. So there's some overlap.
Exactly.
And I think it kind of, gelled really well between you and I, and how everything, just kind of came together in the class.
Exactly. 100%. We had no dull moments. It just flowed like we've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And I think a key factor too is having that meet and greet on Friday to get the people who don't know each other together, and they're relaxed. So when they get to class, they already know each other.
Yeah.
And we can, and even at the meet and greet, people were throwing dice on the table, and that's good. I knew that was going to happen. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. They had a great time up there. Thank you to 10 Ton for opening up his home and his view and his table to everyone.
I think people really liked it.
Well, 10 Ton, what's there not to like about it? You got $1 billion.
It was a great cocktail party. It was a great cocktail party where people got comfortable with each other. Everybody got to spend some time in conversation, get to know each other. Really, really awesome. Not to mention it was some really good
lots of good drinks.
Brown water.
So Ed.
Yes.
The bar passed the test. The Ed.
You've got a good bootlegger. Lord Toranaga did very well.
Toranaga came through. That's good. And that Blanton's from Japan. I think that would be the number one rated drink of the night.
Well, we didn't even open all the bottles yet. So
I know.
Hey, listen, we got 3 events coming up in 25, and then we got 3 events coming up in 26. How many more years you want to go? We got enough booze for the next 2 years. I tell you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sure.
I don't know. I'll come in
I don't
thirsty
think so. I don't think so, Ed. I think that makes it through the next event.
Next event and a half, maybe.
We'll see how it goes.
I like the cocktail party. I think that was pretty cool. A lot of people got time on the table. They just were throwing,
Sure. And get used to your table.
And the nice thing, we figured out that this table, Ed, is very much like, I guess you'd say the closest thing would be to the Bellagio table.
Yeah, it was real close to the Bellagio. There are some other firm tables out there on the strip. And I'll be honest with you, that crapless table that's off by itself at the Aria was a very firm table as well.
Really?
Very similar. Yes. I mean, it's nothing like the others that are in the pit.
Yeah.
There's one over there behind a column by itself, and it was open when I played it. It was a very firm table.
That's when you left, and that's when the other 2 students stayed behind, and they caught some really, really, really long rolls.
Nice.
And so we had the slight change where we ended up, instead of eating up top, it worked out, I think, even better that we had a private room both days for lunch in the restaurant, and the restaurant was great. I keep forgetting, is it Josh from Arizona?
Yes.
Bo?
He loved the salad.
He loved it. He kept coming up to me after, and he was like, that was great food. That was great food.
Toga, what is that? Toga Madeira?
Yeah, Toga Madeira.
Oh, I like the fact that we get to throw the dice. They didn't do that before Saturday. Brought the dice. We could throw that. If we get hard 6 and everything's free.
Yeah, I know. They brought that little thing out for the second time we showed up there. We had a little chance to win lunch.
Yeah. I set them on hard 6. They wouldn't buy it though.
No.
I didn't roll them enough.
No. Ed, I also agree with Bo. I think you're born to do this and you're born to teach. It was almost like I had a golf coach.
Well, I kept telling everybody it was a putting green, not a driving range. That we're playing on, but thank you for the kind words. I enjoyed it very much.
Now I've been practicing exactly with the parameters that you set up, which are some of the basics. Where my nose is, where I'm looking down, where I'm placing the dice, how I'm placing the dice, how my left hand is, all of the fundamentals that I kind of been like, maybe just lot of variables in there. Sometimes I'm leaning, sometimes I've got this left arm sort of leaning on it. Maybe my weight's distributed differently, and where I set the dice, that made in impact. And remember when we did it, I think I rolled 28 roller or something on our practice table, but with like 9 8s, 8 9s. So now I'm practicing that.
A lot of repetitive numbers. That's what you want. That's what you got to have if you want to make any money. You got to have some repetition, a little bit of luck here and there.
Well, overall, the whole event was just smooth. That's what I liked about it. And there was
smooth is good.
And especially for taking the breaks, as far as going downstairs, it was nice to get outside. Everything was easy for anyone that attends. It was just easy. I don't understand how you have more energy than I do and how you could just like keep going like a machine and keep going and going and going and playing and bourbon and playing and bourbon and
that's what's
playing,
good.
and then
that's his gas. That's his gas.
And then coming back, and then all of a sudden you leave on Sunday, and then you and Toranaga are catching a heater at Bellagio, and then catching another one at Cromwell. I mean,
he's full of octane. That was good. He was charged up.
That's impressive to me. I mean, I don't even know how you guys, and I'm the young one.
And you were in bed.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I was. And both you guys were out.
Yikes.
Both you guys were out. I haven't been feeling well, man. So I should get it.
Jesus. How old are you? Yeah. Shit, you act older than us.
Yeah, I know. I'm in bed. I'm in bed earlier. Fuck, Jesus man. Christ. I know. You guys are insane.
You're in bed and I'm out of the casino. And Sweet Lou. Sweet Lou was with me in Toranaga. We had a hell of a good time on Sunday afternoon. Whew. Toranaga, he practiced that shot, or he played that shot that, I'd kind of taught him the fundamentals. He used a die set that Bo gave him, and he was plus or minus just right in the 30 neighborhood from that stick right position at the Bellagio. Needed a 10 to hit the ATS, but my God, he kept hammering his numbers over and over.
Did he lay the 10?
I did.
Did you? Well, that's all. That's what you laid it for 500?
Yeah, I laid it for 500. I had 10, 10, 10 on it. I knew it was getting deep. It was getting really, really, really deep. He needed something like a craps number, like a 3 and a 10. And when that 3 hit, finally, I said, okay, I'll lay the 10 because it was getting really, really deep in his toss. Now, he threw for that 10. I mean, I'm leaning back behind the stick and I'm giving him hand signs like this, I'm giving him dice sets
like a third base coach, dude.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm giving him hand signs. He's looking at me and he's going, "Yeah, I got it." And he would throw it 3 or 4 times. I'd watch. I'd lean back and I'd give him a different die set, And so yeah, I was doing behind the stick man's back dice sets by hand signs to Toranaga during that roll. Started probably about the 15th, 16th roll.
The pitcher and the catcher.
Yep.
That was it.
He had an amazing time. And I think people really want help with their throwing. They're setting everything about it. Ed, this helped me actually. And I'm stubborn.
Yes.
I am going to download Bone Tracker and remove variables from my toss so that I can eliminate things that could possibly go wrong so I can get more consistent results with my toss. Or at least let's see how that goes.
I think you'll find it very interesting. A very interesting journey now there, 10 ton.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we had people not only improving their rolls or their 7 to rolls ratio, whatever you want to call it, during our sessions at your house, but they were carrying it over to real live games. And that's where that's what's important and gratifying to hear and gratifying to see.
Absolutely. We had some great shooters. Well, I talked to Anthony. He says, I didn't realize you guys had that many good shooters in one class. So there you go.
Yeah.
You're talking to Anthony Kent?
Yeah.
He's got a handle now.
I understand that.
Did we give him one? What is it?
His handle's
it's on your matrix.
His handle's Payback. That's his handle.
Another handle? Oh, you changed it.
James Brown, Payback. Yeah, Anthony, yeah. He stayed 2 more days and so met up with him and John.
Jonathan,
who's got a handle too. His handle's Bump John. I'm in charge of handles. Okay?
I can see that.
I'm in charge of like figuring out handles with people. So I did. I ended up going back to Virgin with Bump John and
Did you play on the regular tables, I hope?
played on the regular tables, which are worlds different.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Ed, I talked to the host who came up and I was like, we should have just had the table here. He's like, you could have had the table here. I'm like, this table's, why didn't we have the table there? He had no idea. So yeah, I guess we'll jump into the private table. All right. So
Yeah, put an X on it.
Okay, go ahead. Well, either one of you two, how would you describe the private table?
Well, it was in a secluded area with dealers that weren't at the top notch. They were just like they were there.
Boring,
they weren't motivated.
Boring board crew
they were
I've
just
ever
like,
seen.
do I have to be here type of thing. The one girl was okay, but the other guys were just totally negative, and so was the pit boss.
They all
or the box
sucked
man.
ass.
Well, there's a box, and then there was a pit boss behind him, and he was looking at Toranaga, and because he was taking a little bit long to set his dice, and I knew he was going to jump in and say something. So I told Toranaga, I said, "Hey, you better speed it up a little bit because this guy's about ready to, give you a little bit of heat here." So they weren't happy.
I got heat on the most bounciest table in North America.
There's another thing that was irritating. We tipped them $400 up front before we started.
Yeah, and that was fucking all I give them.
That was it,
Because they were assholes. They were assholes, and they weren't getting another freaking dime of my money that way. I did do a few snow caps for them to see if I could lighten them up, but my God, I mean, they pulled those guys right out of a cemetery somewhere.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Before or after embalming?
After. They were as freaking dead at the table as you can freaking get.
It was crazy.
They were all.
Dude, young Frankenstein. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I was the first one there, and they were already set up, and they were still standing there picking their nose and scratching their asses. And they finally said, well, you can buy in if you want to go. I said, well, I'll go ahead and buy in and get you started, because I said, everybody else going to be buying in with cash, blah, blah, blah. It'd take a while. And they went, well, we're not that slow. And I said, well, but when they all show up, it slows down. And so I started out with a $15 game on it just by myself. First toss, I was like, uh-oh. Second toss, I was like, I really wish I could just get a hold of everybody and tell them to meet me somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
And just walk out, because I knew on the second toss that we were screwed. About that time, Toranaga came in and my dice landed and jumped about 3 feet in the air and then came back down straight. He looked at me and his eyes was as big as saucers, and he's like, holy crap, what's going on? I'm like, bet small, because this table is terrible. There was a cigarette burn in the layout down in the hook near where I was shooting from. And you could see the yellow cellulose foam underneath it. And it was anywhere from 1/4 to 5/8 of an inch deep, that hole was. And I still couldn't see plywood. I mean, there was so much, I don't know, layers of cellulose foam. Something was under there that, I mean, it was, I just assumed break a kneecap just to play on that one again.
What we should have done is all switch to the dark side.
Yeah, but we made that rule about not doing that.
I know, but we didn't realize we didn't realize
we
what
should
the
have
table
huddled.
conditions be. Yeah.
We should have huddled together and all went dark.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
What we should have done basically before we reserved the table, see what table they were going to give us.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that now I know we could have just picked one of those tables out in the main room.
That table out there on the end by itself, when I walked out, of course, when we walked in, there was people playing on it, but there was one. I mean, it was a firm, fair. It looked like a firm, fair table. And I thought, well, maybe it'll be okay. When I got inside, I knew we were screwed.
Because that table that you're talking about on the floor, I played on that 3 weeks ago. And, I picked up $600. Well, guess what? On the bouncy table, they got it back. So I guess it was on loan.
There was some money dropped on that table.
I dropped a lot of it for sure.
But we got it back on the live sessions and other casinos. So that was good news. Plus,
I mean, I mean, so overall, you learn a lesson. I mean, I had never reserved a private table, but now I know, like, shit, we could have just reserved a table on the floor instead. And that might have been,
That would have been 100 times better just from an atmosphere standpoint, because
True.
when we were in that, I felt like somebody was fixing to pull out a damn Tommy gun out of a guitar case and shoot us in the back.
I mean, yeah, I would say that the vibe in there was,
It was negative.
yeah.
It was extremely negative. And so at least on the floor, you got some things happening. But right there where we were, terrible, terrible. Never, never, ever again. Future attendees, do not worry. We will not go there.
We'll figure something out.
Well, if you noticed, but we started like at 8 or 8:30 at night, right, on Saturday night. Well, if you look at the casinos, with a group, we could even split up and take some students to another table of our liking without being married to a particular table that's not working for anybody, because you can always pick up and leave. I think that's the best way to go.
There isn't a problem at are you getting a table? You can find a table. There's spots open.
Well, they got like 8 of them in there, don't they?
Yeah, I mean that kind of helps even on.
Yeah, but they're pretty damn bouncy too, dude.
But not, are they? How would you compare the bounce though, Ed? It's night and day. I mean, Aria's bouncy, but man, that table at Virgin was literally insane. When I saw the dice do like, I mean, it was
a trampoline. I mean, a trampoline.
Stunned. It was worse than a trampoline.
I mean, it was crazy.
It was like you got 5 kids on there jumping up and down, and you're still trying to shoot dice. That's
the dice were going in like angles and degrees.
Well, they were going off the table crazy too.
Calculate how many times did the dice go off the table? I've never seen dice go off the table by people with gentle tosses too. It's not like we were like, usually when you're at a casino and you see dice go off the table, it's because someone new has like thrown the dice super hard and they go off the table. Here, we're just like gentle tosses and it's like,
that's right.
It's like,
it was insane. It was insane. And I still got heat for not hitting the back wall a couple times.
I don't think that it was done on purpose. I just think it's like personality types of people that work there, because I had went there yesterday and there was, a dealer that was there. She's so nice. She calls me Frankie.
Frankie, it's Francis.
Yeah, I don't know why she does, but whenever people call me the wrong name, I just let them because it's funny.
I got an email from your host yesterday.
Oh, you did?
I did.
I got one too.
I deleted it immediately and said, never again.
Wait, what? The host at Virgin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he offer you a room package?
Yeah. I said, screw you. I ain't coming back.
No, I got a room package too. I just
delete.
Oh my God. That's so funny, man. I have a question. I was collecting a couple questions. So it's a perfect one because this one asks specifically about the table. And it's from T-Bone. T-Bone, he says, I'm curious to know what his opinion is on what could have went differently last week at Virgin to change the results of the session. I mean, besides leaving.
Number one,
flat tires on every Uber out there, and that would have changed everything.
There you go. If we had a table that was not so bouncy, I mean, this is it's so bouncy.
Bouncy doesn't even describe it.
Exactly. It's incredible. And we didn't have any decent dealers. Number one, the table was not acceptable. If I was in there myself, like you had, if I'd have got in there on a one-on-one, I'd have thrown the dice once and say, "Color me up, keep my pass line bent, and I'm out of there."
Yep.
That's crazy.
Bo, you've been playing for a long time, and that is so. Would that be?
It was horrible. I would never play that table ever again. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that table. So then I got to thinking, Ed, I was thinking afterwards, I was like, you know what? If I ran a casino, I'm Italian, right? If I ran a casino.
You're Sicilian, dude.
Yeah, back in the day, I would have been like, yeah, let's put our bounciest table in the private room.
Yeah, and put these suckers in there.
With all the guys with the fat wallets.
Did you notice they had 2 private tables back there? There was another room.
There was a whole other room in the back that had a
private table in it.
Yeah, they had a crapless table in there.
Should at least give us that one. We threw some crap numbers.
We had some crappy rolls, that's for sure.
So
damn sure did.
What could we have done to combat that. That was a tough table.
It wasn't tough. It was unbeatable. When the average roll was 6 to 8 rolls, that's crazy. And we decided not to go to the dark side. We'd have been better off going the dark side. Actually, we'd be better off not even going there, but that's history.
Do you think anyone ended up, while we had the whole crew there, getting up over 10?
I don't think so.
Maybe Jesse.
Jesse? Of
Maybe.
all people. Of all people.
Of all people. But he was 3 sheets to the wind. So
yeah, I think he did get over 10, as they mentioned it. Yeah.
But that was an anomaly. It was hard to get over 5 rolls. It was hard to get 5 rolls, let alone 10.
And that's the role a table can play. Look at you guys after at different tables. I mean, that is a massive variable. You add in the super, super, super elastic table, it's disaster. I mean, you're right. I don't think there was anyone until the very end, until me and fucking Bump John, we tossed into the teens.
What if everybody else left?
Everyone had left because I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to give it a try.
I could not wait to get out of there.
Yeah, I know.
I could not.
And I think that was a collective, like, it's just started off on the wrong foot and then it just remained. If you were to give advice, Bo, to like the casino, I mean, sometimes crews are crews and there's not much. Maybe you're not. We all have dealt with crews. Some are not the most bubbly personalities, and maybe their entire crew doesn't have that many bubbly personalities.
It's almost as if they're not used to getting tokes and they didn't know what to do with them when they got them. See, because that's a small casino. And if you go on the casino floor, you don't see very many people toking those guys. So they're kind of used to that. And they probably didn't know how to even handle what we were talking about. But whatever we did, whatever we're trying to do, you couldn't do it on that table. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's amazing how everybody was able to be successful on the other tables in a lot of other casinos. That's what counts.
You want
At least
my
we know.
advice
At least we know.
You want my advice to the casino on that table?
Oh man, I can't wait to
burn
hear
it. Burn it.
Absolutely burn it. You take it out there on the next frosty morning in Nevada and you put it in the middle of the parking lot and you set that son of a bitch on fire and watch it burn.
But Ed, they only do that when they lose a bunch of money at the table. They don't do it on winning tables for them.
Oh man, someone told me a story about that, Ed.
If it's empty, they're not making anything.
Someone told me a story. Like, I think it was the Golden Nugget. I've got a text in here. I'm going to find it. Someone sent me a text about someone that had been in Vegas for a long, long time and said that maybe it was the Golden Nugget. Someone won a ton of money on their craps table. They took it out in the parking lot and lit it on fire. The casino did, because they lost so much money on it. I'll find that text. Someone sent me a text about that situation. And it's a guy, his friend. It's like really old guy that has so many Vegas stories. But yeah, I mean, we're burning it for other reasons.
Yeah.
I'm burning it because it's got witchcraft in it. I mean, there's something wrong with it. I'm tired of talking about that memory.
Hey, Bo, I got a few more questions though that I can put up to you and Ed. Well, here's another one. I mean, this relates right along the same lines. This is from Nasty Nick. Ed, you don't know Nasty Nick, but Bo, you do. He said, I'd be curious on how Bo decides what table to play when he goes to the casino, if he has options. And does he move tables and or casinos in one night if the table he first chooses is cold? Or does he just call it a night? I already know the answer with Ed. Ed, you will move casinos in one night.
Absolutely.
Bo, would you technically, or would you just be like, fuck it?
No, I'll give you a couple of examples. We were at when it was Ballet's, which is now Horseshoe. My favorite table wasn't open. Okay. It's the one that goes north and south. And we were playing on the one closest to the bar that goes east and west. And I was at the end, my student was at the other end. We were there maybe 10 minutes and I was just uncomfortable and it wasn't working as way I wanted it to. So out of the peripheral of my eye, I saw him opening up my favorite table. So I told my student, color up, we're moving. So we went over, I went to stick right. He went to table in to block for me. We were the first ones there. I was the first one to get the dice. And that's when they had the fire bet there. And to show you the difference in the change, I hit a 5-point fire bet, which was just totally awesome. So yeah, I would move tables, especially if it's young in the evening, or casinos, either one. And I look for an energy factor too. Is there energy at this table that's positive? Okay.
Ed, I know that you're just moving and you're going to go. How many casinos did you ended up going out with that night with Toranaga after you left here? Aria? Did you go right to Bellagio or did you go to Aria first?
We went straight to Bellagio because I had a friend from Mississippi who was in town that I hadn't seen in years.
Oh, did you see him?
Yeah, he came up, played with us a couple of hands. I think he went back to the baccarat table. He's big into baccarat now. But yeah, he came over. We played, and he left, and then Toranaga went on that 30 roller.
Nice.
We left from there. This was our last night, Sunday night. Walked. We were, and Sweet Lou was with us, and we walked over to Cromwell. And the only table open that we could get on was the crapless with the repeater bets. And there was a young girl tossing. She had just turned 21. She was celebrating her birthday, and she was popping her craps cherry while in Vegas, right?
This is can't even make this up. This is the truth, right?
Yeah, this is total truth. And so the puck's on, and we're all standing there waiting, and she's shooting from straight out, and she's got this kind of rhythm. I'm watching her. She's got this certain kind of like rhythm and release going, but she's just she's a rhythm roller at best. But she had this thing going, and I was like, I'm going to buy in because there's only like 3 shooters between her, or two in between her and Toranaga, then me, then Sweet Lou. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And they already had their repeater bets out. Now I could, thinking back on it, I could have and maybe should have made some repeater bets, but she'd already hit 2 or 3 numbers, and so you can't bet those. But I don't really, I'm still learning the repeater bet. And so we bought in real quick. I bought in with like $800 because it was a $15 crapless table. And we do $20 on the 2, 3, 11, and 12. That gives you the automatic buys. Pays so much better, that extra nickel when they hit. You've got to do it. And so she just kept hitting numbers and kept hitting numbers and kept hitting numbers. And, she would hit a point of 2, and then she'd hit that point back. I mean, she was just over. She hit like 5 or 6 repeater bets.
Oh my God.
She hit the 6 and was at least halfway. She may have hit the 6 repeater bet twice. I'm not really sure. I know she hit it once. She was really close to the 8. She hit the 5. She hit the 9. She hit the 2. She hit the 3. She hit the 11. She hit the 12. She was freaking it was just unbelievable. And I've gone in there with $800 tiptoeing in with a 3, 6, 8, 11 and a field bet. Next thing I know, I got $100 11. I got $100 3. I've got a hit on $420 on 6 on this girl. I mean, just absolutely killing it. And I'm sitting there talking with Sweet Lou, who was immediately to my left, and I'm going, here's my next bet. Field bets. If the field bet hits, that's the press. I'm bringing the money back off the bet in. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was just over and over and over. Here's my $30. I've collected it. 180. I'm going to 420. I'm going to drop them $30, and they're going to take me to 420. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was just over and over and over. Here's my $10. So when she hits that 6, I'm going to drop it down. They're going to give me 500 over. I mean, it's just constantly, and I'm walking him through my bets as I'm, making my progressions and how I'm playing it. You couldn't ask for any kind of toss. I mean, we just walked up, luck of the draw, whatever. But I mean, that was the ending of the night, really, right there.
Talk about positive energy, huh?
It was massive rail dump when she finally 7'd out. And Toranaga, thanks to Bo, had turned his bets off right before the 7 came.
Oh, sweet. That's nice. He had an indicator, right?
Why'd he turn them off?
They went off the
Okay.
table. Only toss of the night that girl threw, the dice went off the end of the table.
Random roller, right? But did she have some sort of
Yep.
consistency in her toss? Did she set them down at
Like I
least?
said, she had a very consistent. She had a little hand twist that she was doing. They were pushing her the dice. She was picking them up. She wasn't shaking them. She'd pick them up and she'd do kind of like a little underhanded toss down to the end of the table. It was always the same. It was always the same. It was very much a rhythm roller as far as I was concerned.
Hey, Ed, did anybody tip her? Did they tilt her at all?
No, she was too drunk to tip. She was gonna blow everything she won before the sun come up anyway.
That's nice. Looking out for her best interest. Hey, well, how was the table there though? That crapless table. Was it if you had to rate it on a hard to bouncy?
Very fair. Just like all Cromwell. Cromwell has always got fair shooters tables, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you may be not on, but the table didn't change. Those tables are no different right now than they were 5 years ago, as far as I was concerned.
Hey, Bo and Ed, since this is a random here, I got another question that relates to this. Actually, and this is from Moonshine, who you met, Moonshine Melvin.
I met him. Yep. Made money on him.
So he said he'd like to know, when do they know on a random when it's time to go from cautious to let's go? I couldn't make up this question. This is exactly perfect question on
Exactly
this.
what I did. As soon as I had my bets covered and just, all of a sudden then I got a little bit of profit. I'm like, who cares? Let's let the roll run and press it with my normal progressions on a crapless table. And I went from a $20 11 and a $20 3 to $100 probably on each one of them.
Yeah, you're just letting the game dictate your betting strategy as far as pressing, because you're even before you started all that. You got your money back, right? So now you're pressing with their money, and you can't lose. I mean, it's silly if you don't.
So a lot of times on these randoms, I'll set it 42 for a couple of hits. Then, okay, I'll go to 90 and I dare you to do it again. But I very rarely go above 90 on a 6 or 8 because it takes me a while to have enough. Okay, I dare you to do it again mentality, because I want that. If you do it, I'm gonna get 105 every time you hit it. It's an ATM withdrawal of $100. So, that's kind of the way I look at it. I don't, I'm not going to go right on to 180 or something like that from 90. I'm just going to collect.
Yeah, that's a compelling argument for me to learn those lower progressions.
Yeah. It's not really lower. It's much lower than yours, but it's not really lower.
All you're doing is moving the decimal point.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, it's just like, okay, that girl at the Cromwell, I took a hit at $420. It paid me $490 net right to my rack.
Yeah, that's
and Lou says, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, the smart play would be go ahead and regress." I told him this. The smart play would be to regress to 180, but she's had such a freaking long roll. I'm going to go to 900 on the next hit. I never got the next hit. So the smart play was correct. Drop to 180. Collect 210 and you're back up if you want to. Then if you want to keep pressing, go ahead. I mean, that would have put another $500 or whatever in the rack. But I had already. I mean, she was killing numbers, dude. I mean, she was just killing numbers.
What do you think that roll was? You think 40?
Easy.
Wow.
On a crapless, easy.
Wow.
Every number pays, man. Every number was paying. I mean, it was just that table was dumping money.
So Ed, they didn't have the ATS on that table, did they?
No, they had the repeater bet.
But if they had the ATS, she'd have hit it. It sounds like a couple of times.
Should have hit it twice. Should have hit it twice.
That'd have been nice to have the ATS in that, because you can really kick some ass.
Those guys and gals at that table that had the repeater bet at the beginning. I mean, the guy next to me took $15,000 off that table.
Wow, nice.
What? Really?
On her roll?
Yes, on her roll.
That's
He had
you stepped into a hot roll hand right off the bat.
we walked right into it. She'd already thrown a few times, and we waited until the puck was off to buy in. But this guy had probably $200 in green chips, maybe $100 in red chips in his rack. He colored up $15,000, and it was because he had the repeater bets. That he had the repeaters kind of heavy.
Did he have like 25s on him?
He had like 10s on him. But I mean, she was killing freaking numbers, and he was pressing to the moon. He was way more aggressive than me. I was just like along for the ride. I'm just in there, just
enjoying the ride.
Yeah. I mean, I went from 800 to 2,800. I mean,
and there's nothing matter with that.
Nah. And I'm just like, I probably had $2,000 sitting on the table when she 7'd out.
You should have followed Tornaga.
Yeah, but she'd thrown so much, man. She'd thrown so many.
Well, listen, if you called him off, she hit a number. It's only one number, as opposed to losing the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I can't fault the argument for why you should have turned off, but
it is what it is.
I did not turn off.
But you did well, though.
I was happy.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
So listen, here's something. This is a question from Bump John. All right. It's kind of a long one, but I'm going to read it to you. Okay. He starts it. He's like, this is kind of a long question, but I wanted to talk to Ed and Bo to get their thoughts. My general MO is to either leave up or at least even or with no money. Every time I have won a significant amount, and in parentheses, at least double my buy-in, I have gotten down to less than 100 and then finally caught the roll that paid me. But Bo talks about 3 mistakes and he leaves, and Ed talks about leaving bad tables. I would have missed out on these rolls if I left. Then again, I've also lost whole bankrolls doing that too. So I assume their advice is risk missing out on those money-making rolls to protect the bankroll and live to fight another day.
That's what you got to have, a stop loss. My buy-in, like I hit my stop loss at our live table, right? At the Virgin, right? Boom. Okay, fine. I had the discipline to like back off. You got to, because in the long run, you're going to get eaten alive. Like you just said, he's lost many bankrolls by staying and losing it all. I'm never leaving the table without any money. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. You got to have discipline. You got to have a stop loss. You can't bank on luck for the last $100 to get you out of the dish. What do you think, Ed?
Well, I've told 10 Ton for months now, never leave a table empty-handed. Never let them have never let them have anything you've got in your rack. Now, that being said, we're all guilty. Everyone is guilty of going in too deep, too long. And I've gone in basically rail dumped on myself before. I've rail dumped on Sweet Lou before. And sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. But if you're making a decision based on just knowing that you're really just the fact that okay, I might walk out of here with $3 instead of, 220 or whatever. If you're legitimately making that decision, I can understand it under certain small circumstances. But you never really want to leave a table empty. And so you talk about, well, because I stayed, I finally caught the long hand. If you had left, you might have caught 3 long hands somewhere else.
True.
So the smart play is to leave if the table is not cooperating with either your betting or the tosses, or it's just cold or it's too choppy to figure out how to play it. It's a much smarter thing to do. 10 Ton. We were on a table. What night was it? We were at Horseshoe.
The very first night, which I still can't believe that you had energy, is powered by bourbon, Bo. I'm like powered by these other drinks. Maybe I should consider changing.
I was not powered near as the guy, near as much as
you're an animal, dude. I don't know how you did it. It was the night you came in, flew in, and it was late.
It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. And
that's after they got lost going to Durango.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With
it
the
was
chauffeur?
after that thing.
Yeah, it was way
all
after
of
that. Way after that. We ain't even got it.
I laid the 10. Ed was going for the ATS.
And how long did I shot for that 10 for a long time, didn't I?
Yeah.
But I kept hitting other numbers.
Yeah.
And that made you money.
Yep. I did. I made money on that roll. You know, I've been making money because I'm laying things.
Well, that's not how that's not the efficient way to make money. But
no, but
it is a way to make money.
I'm at least making the best of some of these situations. I'm laying all the repeaters now.
So what'd you have on the ATS when I was rolling?
Oh man, Ed, I had 25 on both outsides, tall and small, and 50 on in the middle. It would have paid all in said, it would have paid $9,000.
All right.
And how much did you lay the 10 for?
I laid the 10 for 3,000.
Got another 1,500.
The great thing about this, and people don't know, and Ed didn't know because I was on the other side of the table next to Sweet Lou, doing great with the massively drunk guy and the old guy that wanted to buy in.
Thank you for blocking for me.
You are not. I was blocking because I'm like, you are not doing what you're gonna do right now. Guy had his money out, and he was like, "You're not doing that, dude. Not right now. Why? Because this is a hot roll. You're not even thinking about doing that. I'm sorry.
What did he say?
This is not happening." He just looked at me.
Here's $100. Don't buy in.
Ed knows I'm not like a pushover at the table. I will tell you what's up.
Hey, so I'm shooting out of my normal position.
Straight out.
I was shooting straight out, and that was probably 30 plus rolls.
What set were you using? What set? Do you remember what set?
I changed sets a lot trying to hit that 10.
Oh, okay.
I'd give one set of mine maybe 3 or 4 rolls, and then I'd go to another and just see. I was hunting that 10 bad because I didn't lay the 10.
And what'd you have on the ATS?
I had 555, I think. I might have had, did I have 555 or 10, 10, 10? I don't remember now. But
well, what'd they pay you for the smalls? 155 or 310?
I don't even, dude, that was a week ago.
Man, I can't believe if you could remember
a week ago and a lot of octane ago.
Probably 555 because I was out of position. Because I bet a lot of 10, 10, 10s over the weekend. But I think probably that night I was probably 555. So it wasn't, to me, it was either make it or just be happy hitting repeating numbers.
Yeah, that's always good to hit repeating numbers.
And so we brought you back from negative
to
positive.
Negative
10 ton.
Sweet Lou saw me. I just stayed with my style, which I should have been staying with. On any decent roll, it churns out money. I was all ready because you needed the aces and 10, and I had already told the dealer. And the dealer knew it. He heard me talking. He's like, yeah, after the aces, how much you going to lay the 10 for? And I'm like, 3K. We had it all set up. The whole thing paid 9,000 total, all in.
Total?
Yeah.
All right.
That's why laying it for that amount makes so much sense. I think laying that 4 and 10 for 3,000. So now you're guaranteeing you're going to make 1,500 on it. On the high end, if it comes in, great. Your overall take on that ATS hit would have been 6,000. That includes the small, which hit before for 750.
Right.
On that whole thing was 1,500 plus 750, actually.
2,250. That's good.
But if Ed hits it and hits that hard and makes it hard 10, then it's like payday because I had everyone up on that hard 10 too. And it was close, Ed. It was very close. You actually had it.
There was one die roll over, right? You remember when that one die?
He had it hit. It rolled and it hit the stack, the dealer's stack. It interrupted the roll. It would have rolled to a hard 10.
Oh, no.
If you could only see my face in slow motion, it went from utter joy to just despair.
To utter.
Yeah.
Just utter.
Like, fuck. But you can't complain because he's still rolling. I think it was an he hit it. It rolled into a 3. So it's all good.
Very good.
I shot for that 10 it seemed like forever.
Yeah. I can't believe he did hit it.
I mean, I shot at least 10 times for that 10, I think. It seemed like it anyway. It might have been more. I don't know. But it was a long roll, and I was in the groove, and you were the extreme drunk at the end had given me he had given me my bankroll just to buy in on that particular hand of mine because I'd gone dark side on him.
He was wasted.
Ed, let me ask you a question. After the dice passed, did you stay very long after that?
After I 7'd out,
Just a few shooters.
Okay, my question would be this.
A full-length extended version of this podcast is available exclusively on our Patreon page. New episodes drop weekly every Tuesday. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and will tell all of your fellow craps-playing friends about it. Please follow Casino Tears on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. If you like the show, please rate it 5 stars and leave a review. The best and most fun way to contact us would be to call and leave a message on our official Casino Tears vent line, 229-NO7. You can also email us at no7@casinotears.com. And lastly, to help support this podcast, you can visit our Patreon at patreon.com/casinotears. On behalf of Roll to Win Craps from Alabama and 10 Ton is #1 from Las Vegas, thanks for listening.